right, we gotta talk about the guy Sam Sulek. So, I personally I love the Sam Sulek phenomenon. It is it's a very cool thing about dedication, education, and productivity. But there's a major problem. We got a fucking major problem with the dude. He's gonna kill himself. He's gonna kill himself. And the problem is he's the perfect character in the wrong vehicle because bodybuilding is it's a terrible like fad for a young man to go into. And clearly he's probably abusing steroids to some degree because you should not be that huge at 21 years old, no matter how hard you're working and how much you eat. And what scares me about it is like a lot of young guys take inspiration from him, which is a major problem because the lifestyle he's kind of living is super fucking unhealthy. Which is kind of trippy when you think about it because he comes from a gymnast background and he was a diver. So he came from this high cardio, high endurance, very natural body type, and now he's like 250 pounds and can barely breathe when he talks, which is terrifying because as he continues to get bigger and gets larger, more strain on the heart, more strain on the organs and everything else, the dude's probably gonna die. And this is typically what happens to most bodybuilders. And like it's very like kind of sad and almost tragic to watch because he's such an eloquent and what's the word? Eloquent and very like good at speaking. I can't remember the word, but it's just interesting because you're seeing like this guy's clearly intelligent. He's smart. He's eloquent. He has very good vocabulary. He breaks things down very simple. He's very raw and very authentic. And it's just like, dude, why are you bodybuilding? You could have put this energy and this focus into almost anything else that would have been way more like productive and creative, but you chose to do bodybuilding. And it's like the dangers of the bodybuilding is that you are just overtaxing the body for no real particular gain besides the idea of just being a huge fucking human being. And that's not very useful like in society. And that's the kind of sad part because he's going to inspire a lot of kids that will be bodybuilders and it's going to turn out horrible. And when he passes away, we're going to see more people say, we're going to go harder for Sam, and then it's going to even have more deaths. Because most people online are followers. Like, the grand majority of kids are lost boys. And that's kind of what I see with him to some degree. Like, he's dedicated, and he's driven, and he's purposeful, and he's putting out great content about, like, the growth of the body. But it's like, dude, your life, man, you're fucking unhealthy. That's unhealthy as shit. Like, I wonder, has the man ran? When was the last time fucking man ever took off and actually did a run? And it's just weird to watch him just to see, because I really want to see the young man do good. And this is not coming from a hateful spirit or anything like that. I'm just looking as a casual observer and watching somebody like I kind of feel fondly for do something that's not very intelligent. Like it's kind of like if you watch a guy that does like parkour or skateboarding or some really crazy extreme sport where you have a very good like chance of dying. It's kind of like watching that, but you're watching a very slow car crash play out where he's going to essentially just kill himself from imploding, from just over bodybuilding. And it really leads you to believe, like, what leads people to these self-destructive nature that they, activities that they end up doing. Because, like, for the human body, like, you want to be healthy. Everybody wants to be healthy. Everybody wants to be fit. But at one point, does that become an obsession where you end up like that Brian Johnson guy who looks like a fucking lizard who's trying to prolong his life at 50 years old? Like, at what point does health and fitness become a detriment to your society or a detriment to you? And the worst part is he's incentivized to keep doing it because he's making a grep load of money off of TikTok, YouTube. He puts out content every day. But it's just like, why this endeavor? And it really leads you to like think about just humanity, like how often people find themselves doing shit that doesn't make a lot of sense, but they're incredibly gifted and intelligent, but they just choose the wrong avenue. It's almost like the kids that go into a life of crime if they were super bright, like the criminal genius masterminds, because nobody taught them what to do or go a better way about life, so they only found this avenue because that's what they got exposed to and that's just what they kind of fell into. And I looked at that. That's kind of what a lot of young people are falling into. Like when I call the Lost Boy generation, I'll put a video on the link on my Lost Boy generation explain what's going on. This Lost Boy generation, we got a lot of dudes looking to find ways to have like their, I guess you would call it their path of their rite of passage. And some people find it in gang activities. Some people find it in like drugs and music. Some people find it in bodybuilding. I want to see more productive human beings. And I wish that we can figure out a way, well, actually I'm working on it, to have young people channel that energy into a more productive manner that helps them build better human beings in the future, because we don't need a bunch of fucking Sam Suleks. We get a bunch of Sam Suleks, they're gonna all end up like Ronnie Coleman or like that Joey big arm guy that died like a year ago. We don't want to see young people die and crash out because they don't have guidance or direction. And I wish somebody in the bodybuilding community really stopped down, like talk to Sam, like, hey, bro, I understand what you're doing, but look, I did what you do. I did what you did already, or where you're trying to get to, and it doesn't end well. But then again, there are some men that don't mind, like, just kind of crashing out in that way. It's a weird thing. Like, once again, man is such a complex, intricate creature that has so many folds and layers and onions that kind of lead them to different paths. And that's kind of what I see with Sam. So I hope Sam maybe sees this video at some point, and maybe he kind of slows down the bodybuilding and goes back to a more natural shape. Because, bro, you're listening to him talking, he's like, oh. Even when he's sitting down at a resting rate, it's like you could tell that his body is like crying, like, please, brother, stop. And dude, chances are he might be on the roids. I almost positive he's definitely roided up. And that's another problem we got with the whole trend and extra roids and shit that these young kids are getting their hands on. This is insane, because we're gonna start seeing some fucking monster ass young people following this guy, and they're gonna pretty much find themselves to a young death. Appreciate you guys for listening. Talk to you soon.